What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brent Watches Babylon 5 for the first time. It is the Season 4 finale, Episode 22, The Deconstruction of Fallen Stars. I have no idea what this one could be about because they wrapped up the season in the last episode. So I really have no earthly idea what this could be. Londo and Jakar, I think, was my best thought. Like, we got all of Sheridan and the new Federation or Alliance or whatever it is. Sheridan's the Rising Star last week. These are the Deconstruction of Falling Stars. So are we talking about Londo and Jakar? It could be Michael Garibaldi. It could be, I have no idea. No idea. We do know that early in the next season, early in the next year, Londo's got to go back to Centauri Prime to take his role as Emperor, which is kind of the last stop before his death, right? So anyway, let's get into it. Let's find out. While you guys are here, please like, subscribe, comment down below. No spoilers, please. And make sure you guys join us next week when we get into the Season 4 wrap up. Listen, you guys want to be in to win that super cool encyclopedia thing that Jeff has? All you got to do is be a member of Patreon. That's it. That's all you got to do. So if you haven't signed up yet, go on over there, patreon.com/Babylon5First. That's the number 5, the word first. Sign up on any level, get some awesome, cool content and be entered to win. All right, let's jump into this episode, The Deconstruction of Falling Stars. Let's go. Here we go. Season 4 finale. So, question right off the bat. Does Earth retain control of Babylon 5 now that everything's done? Like, I know that Sheridan's going to use it as a base of operations for this new alliance of planets, but is Earth ceding that to Babylon 5? Does Babylon 5 maintain its independence? What's happening with Babylon 5? I hadn't even thought about that. All right, let's go.
The package is on its way in.
The package. This has got to be Sheridan coming back, right? The new president. First, there he is. Oh, he shaved his beard into a goatee. Now all he has to do now is shave that head and the ripoff will be complete.
Welcome home. This was your idea, wasn't it?
Well, we figured you probably want to come back with as little fanfare as possible. Your usual low-key approach.
But there's a time and a place for everything, and this is the time, and this is definitely the place for one hell of a party.
There's a guy in the background with a sign that says Sick Transit something.
We have a lot to celebrate, including and especially your marriage.
We had an episode in Season 3 called Sick Transit Veer. So what is this supposed to mean? Jeff probably knows. I'm actually looking it up right now. Thus passes the glory of the world. Sic Transit Gloria Mundi. It is used figuratively to express regretful recognition that something has or is about to end, as all things eventually do. That's what it's all about. Huh. I want to see what it says, Sic Transit what. And so Sheridan and Delenn are actually married now. Yeah, they're coming in. So Delenn's the first lady, right? That means Delenn's first lady. It says Sic Transit Gloria Mundi.
Welcome home.
So, Doctor, who died?
What are you talking about?
Among my people, this is how we celebrate state funerals. Our marriage ceremonies are solemn, sober, moments of reflection, disagreement, argument, and mutual recrimination. Once you know that it cannot get any worse, you can relax and enjoy the marriage.
So Garibaldi's just forgiven, like he's back in the fold, no problem.
I said.
Perhaps it is everything you say.
Ah! Yeah, I still can't get over Jakar was peeping on Sheridan and Delenn on their wedding night.
I knew we should.
Their triumphant return to Babylon 5 after the liberation of Earth has generated good messages from the Senate and in the former League of Aligned Worlds. ISI coverage.
Londo and Jakar, right?
Continuity error caused by high energy. Reloading sequence. Sheridan and Delenn, please select a time period or select autoplay for chronological display of records. Loading records for period covering 1 year through 1,000 years from events shown.
What the hell's all that about? I don't know. I have no words. Let's move on. I have no idea what's going on. Are we getting a time travel episode?
The end of a civil war
Right.
that split Earth Force squarely down the middle. The death of President William Morgan Clark. The birth of an independent Mars and the creation of a new interstellar alliance. However, there's a word in the Old Testament.
Is this a clip show?
Call for silence between passages. Selah. So tonight, starting with a report from Special Correspondent Jim Bitterbane and a word or 10 from our usual panel of experts.
A word or 10.
We've set aside a few moments to reflect, discuss, pause, and consider. Selah.
Let's look at the facts. The man isn't qualified to run an operation as large as this interstellar alliance. He could barely keep Babylon 5 operations.
This is directed by Stephen First.
Oh, that's an exaggeration.
He can barely get along with his own race.
Record ends. Loading next sequence. Date, 100 years from first time period. Stand by.
Whose eyes were that?
Accessing records for date, 100 years from initial scanning date.
On the 100th anniversary of the Interstellar Alliance.
Is it a clip
Taking
show
part in
of the
today's
future?
discussion from Earth Dome.
Sheridan was a megalomaniac, and to allow history to feed that megalomania, even posthumously, simply compounds the error. We have an obligation as academics to uphold certain standards.
I've just heard we've had
Well,
a security breach in the building.
Not good things happen with Sheridan in the future, huh? Or at least he hasn't been thought of very well. Oh, is that Delenn?
Delenn?
That might be the best makeup I've ever seen on Delenn.
Sheridan was a good and kind and decent man.
You came all this way just to say that?
You came just as far to say less.
There's so much more we'd like to ask you. So much more we'd like to know.
You do not wish to know anything. You wish only to speak. That which you know, you ignore because it is inconvenient. That which you do not know, you invent. None of that matters except that he was a good man who cared about the world, even when the world cared nothing for him.
It's an interesting line she has there. I feel like this is another one of those JMS life philosophies, world philosophies. Good words. You do not wish to know, you only wish to speak. That which you know, you ignore because it's inconvenient. And that which you do not know, you invent. Believe that would be a mirror to society. So, okay, in the last episode, Sheridan was the rising star, and in this episode, he's actually the fallen star, but it's the fallen star way in the future, well after his death, and how he got to be a not well thought of or well remembered person. Okay, let's see where this goes.
Of course, we would expect you to say that.
Wrong thing to say there, pal.
Goodbye.
Accessing records for date 500 years from initial scanning date. Stand by.
Virtual environment functioning identical to Babylon 5 system records from 2262. Data transfer of records is complete, successful, in spite of extreme age of original files and destruction of original Babylon 5 station 480 years ago. Intent is to deconstruct historical figures revered by Prol Sector, thereby legitimizing current government policies. The holograms will thus perform in a fashion consistent with real fact. Program start now.
Okay, so I just want to further this out, make sure I'm tracking with what they're trying to do here. The name of this episode is The Deconstruction of Fallen Stars. Last week, Sheridan was the rising star that we heard about. So what we know is that at some point in the future, about 20 years, because we know Sheridan's only supposed to live for about another 20 years, he goes through some questionable stuff. We know that Babylon 5, the Alliance cracks, but it holds, whatever. But in 1,000 years, Sheridan is really poorly thought of, awful thought of. So this is 500. I'm going to say that was 1,000. This is 100 years, 500 years. So right in the middle. And basically what they're saying is the Alliance is against Earth. And the reason why they're able to do what they do is because there's this reverence for these old historical figures that have not been propped up in the right way. So we're going to deconstruct them. We're going to tear them down, take them down a pole so that we actually have a reason to break away. And now Sheridan is the falling star in this. So this is how he becomes reviled, I guess, in the future. I want to see how far in the future they said this scene was. 100
years from initial scanning.
Oh, only 100.
Stand by.
Okay. And so this is 500. So he already was not revered. I was going to say, for Delenn to live over 1,000 years, that'd have been something. But yeah, let's see what happens.
Sector. They've recreated us so that they can provide false records and portray us to be, what, the bad guys? Only out for interests but our own?
They want to undermine the Alliance by attacking the people who created it.
Looks like.
I'm remembering things I never saw. There's another force out there. EarthGov is split. The two sides are fighting each other over land and resources, power. We're on the cusp of another civil war.
This sounds very familiar. To those of you not in America, I don't know how this is going in your country, but here in America, we certainly have our heroes of the past. People that oftentimes probably are thought in a much better light than what they were in reality. But there's also this other side where it really does seem like people are trying to discredit those heroes of the past, the people that helped create the country, people that set things in motion. You're trying to discredit them. All that does is serve to bring down where we are. Now, if that's what you're actually trying to do, well, I'm not going to say that that's fine. At least admit it, you know? You want to bring down the system. You want to bring down the government. You want to bring down the country. It's a parallel here, for sure, a parallel.
Welcome to Babylon 5. I understand that you surrendered to our forces in the hopes of finding mercy.
The Interstellar Alliance is not here to be merciful to the weak.
Is this Karate Kid?
In all the universe, there are only two kinds, the conquerors and the conquered. What we cannot take by force, we will win by subversion.
Does he have the goatee because now he's
Your
mirror
lives are not the first, and they will not be the last. If 1 billion must die to ensure the continuance of our empire, then so be it.
Computer. Holograms don't pie, Danny boy.
Computer end simulation.
End simulation!
Whoops, guess the system's busy. This little lab of yours, this isn't by any chance located on a military base, is it?
No!
Rest easy, friends.
Record ends. System has finished processing and archiving records for a period of 1 million years from initial scanning date. Instructions.
Our job is finished. Convey records to New Earth.
Confirmed.
This is how the world ends. Swallowed in fire, but not in darkness. You will live on. The voice of all our ancestors. The voice of our fathers and our mothers to the last generation.
Kind of looked like Vorlon, but not. Is that organic tech?
And I was wondering if they will remember us 100 years from now or 1,000. And I figured probably not.
But it doesn't matter. We did what we did because it was right not to be remembered. History will attend to itself. It always does.
That's great. Dedicated to everyone. That's a big middle finger right there. All right, so that's the season 4 finale. Quite possibly it's the weakest of all the finales we've seen so far, and it wasn't bad. Like, an interesting concept. I could see why this would actually be a season finale. It wasn't big, bang, bang. Pretty sure if I understand the history of the show correctly, they kind of went back and added this in at the last minute when they realized they'd gotten picked up. You know, kind of makes a little bit of sense. The idea, like, why are you doing what you're doing? Is it to be remembered, or is it because it's the right thing? That's a great message. And it almost looks like it's circled back around. It looked like that guy was trying to be a Vorlon and like circled back around or something like that. Yeah, this truly, the season finale was like last week, and this was something a little bit different. So it's okay. I don't mind it. I don't mind this episode. Don't mind this. I'm not floored by it. I'm not bowled over by it. It's an interesting concept. So anyway, Jeff and I are going to get together. We'll talk about it, and we'll deconstruct this episode on Monday. You guys make sure you join us then. Like, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you know as soon as those videos go live. And please, share this video with all your friends out there. And remember, as you're commenting down below, let's keep it spoiler free. All right, folks, that's going to do it for me this week. You guys have a great one, and we'll see you next week in the season wrap up, which means no Brent watches next week. Taking a break. But we'll see you the week after that for season 5, episode 1. Next week's the recap. This week, deconstructing this episode. Bye, guys.